can you tell me a little bit more about the rhythm of your ceremonies, if you want to, if I want to frame it that way, and
Yep.
kind of like what comes up for you when I just throw that out there?
I think for me, rhythm the ceremonies more and more as I guess mature and grow in sharing spaces with people and co-creating. The music is obviously such a strong part of the journeying, as is silence when we have that. But I'm really trying my best these days to have as much expression around me as I possibly can. So if I'm feeling inspired to play, in a live sense, I've got some tools for the trade. So I've got my didgeridoos and some flutes and a drum, and I'm just constantly acquiring kind of instruments because I really love just kind of being able to jam, in those spaces, or just to let that creativity and that inspiration kind of just come through me. And it obviously takes a little bit of familiarity with your instruments to be able to flow really well. But I don't often practice or play any of my instruments these days, before ceremony. I hope to kind of just find a rhythm that'll come through, or a song, much like this album, just the same kind of process, just sitting and waiting, and if it's going to be a valuable part of the ceremony, I get a pretty strong impression, and then I'll just kind of step into that space and into the performance aspect. And I try and resist as much as I can, because I'm really big on not interjecting too much into people's experience, and I don't want to become too much of a space. So it's more resisting the urge and the compulsion to act until I really feel like I have to, and I get that message that it's appropriate. And then I find that if I can do that, and I'm just in a flow state of expressing a rhythm or a melody or whatever on whichever instrument, or even with my voice potentially, it tends to be a part of the space and a part of people's experience that seems to come across and land quite powerfully and be quite helpful. Often you'll see people's reactions can be anything from crying to singing along harmoniously to purging and really moving some stuck energy. So I guess that's more in the realms of shamanic music, I suppose. Or the shamanic realms of using sound medicinally very intentionally, as opposed to just playing and performing pretty songs. But yeah, that space I can only really access when I'm really, my intention is to become an open space and channel for, music like that to come through.